Cinematic universes are all the thing between Star Wars and Marvel and everything in between. Should Nintendo follow suit? It's the LP Podcast. Hello and happy Tuesday. It's the day of the week where I do more talking than playing up Nintendo games, but Nintendo is the topic all the same. Specifically today, some comments made by one Mr. Pratt, the head honcho behind Mario's voice in 2023's Super Mario Bros. Movie, speaking about how the Super Mario Bros. Movie sequel, aptly named Super Mario Bros. Movie 2, should be the part of an upcoming Nintendo Cinematic Universe. And I'm here today to discuss what that means and whether or not that is something we even want. Because when you think of a cinematic universe, right, what does that mean? That means, number one, there's a bunch of films, if not solely, also including television, video games, what have you. It's cinematic. It's a universe and they're all intertwined, right? Meaning that one thing's happenings are directly impacting or related to the happenings in another film. The characters are intertwined, the characters get together for collaborations or for battles or for what have you. And while I suppose the greater Mario universe is somewhat intertwined sometimes, by and large, a ton of the adventures tend to happen in their own compact, compartmentalized, separate sort of experience, right? You think of Super Mario 64. Princess Peach's castle is an entirely different castle than the Princess Peach's castle in Super Mario Galaxy. I mean, maybe they are somewhat influenced by each other, but clearly they're taking place in different universes, different worlds, different times. And bringing it all together here, as Chris says, may make sense from a financial perspective, right? As we talked about in the intro, Marvel and Star Wars are just two of many IPs that are sort of seeking to create this sort of continuity, and you can kind of guess why, right? Because when you have that sort of continuity, that sort of cohesion between films, even if they have different characters headlining, right, you feel almost obligated in a way to watch all of them. And that is a blessing and a curse, I should say. For myself, it was actually part of the reason why I stopped watching Marvel movies. It's because, golly gee williker, I don't know, maybe I'm just not the biggest superhero guy in the world, and I'm not here to drone on about that, but I stopped watching them because I felt like I was falling behind in certain things that would be referenced in a film I wanted to watch, maybe pulling facts or trivia or what have you from other IPs or other parts of that universe that I was not watching, and it would go over my head and it just wouldn't be as enjoyable of an experience. I tend to enjoy my movies as isolated sort of pieces of entertainment. You know, sure, there's trilogies and sequels and things like that, and I can understand, you know, you have to watch Fellowship of the Ring to kind of understand what's happening in Two Towers, or of course, you know, you could read the books, but you get what I'm saying, right? But if it's a sprawling web, a cinematic universe where you might have movie 1 and movie 2, Mario movie 1, Mario movie 2, direct linearity there, you can watch both of those, but then boom, sprout over, you know, the Toad movie, and then the Donkey Kong movie, and then the Toad movie is talking about things that are happening alongside the Donkey Kong movie, and you need to watch those to understand something that happens inside the Mario movie 2. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. But hey, I mean, I am a Nintendo fanboy through and through, so ultimately more Nintendo crap is just going to be good for me and you if you are similar. And with that said, let's read into a little bit what Chris said here. Maybe we can get more out of it than just the headline. Oh man, there's so much to explore, said Chris. There are decades worth of games to explore, not only with Mario and Peach and Donkey Kong, Luigi, Bowser, Yoshi, but it just gets me so excited. I was such a Nintendo head growing up, so just thinking about how everything from The Legend of Zelda to the entire Nintendo Cinematic Universe could be created, and what that could look like for all of these characters that I love, I mean, really, there's no limit. We could talk about it for hours. So, interesting. And he does reference Zelda there. It was not something that I've brought up yet, funnily enough, considering Zelda's my favorite, but we also know that there's already a Zelda movie in the works. And given everything that we've heard about the Zelda movie, I feel almost like it would be difficult to tie that into a cinematic universe with what we saw from the Mario movie. Chiefly, number one, the Mario movie's animated. The Zelda movie, live action. How do you reconcile that? how do you put those both in the? I mean, it was some sort of weird Roger Rabbit situation. I don't know that would be. I don't know that would be great, to be perfectly candid with you. But Chris here is referencing it. Perhaps he is just being, hopeful and optimistic, or perhaps he has some sort of inside information, considering the fact that he is working alongside executive producers at Nintendo, specifically Nintendo Pictures. So it's hard to say. But when you talk about The Legend of Zelda, right, about Mario, about Donkey Kong, all the characters you reference, what are the potential games that would fit into that? I've pulled up a list here of the best-selling franchises coming out of Nintendo since the dawn of time. And obviously Mario is number one here with its various little spin-offs. And then Pokemon, the Wii series, I believe encompassing things like Wii Sports, Wii Fit, Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Game & Watch, Brain Age, Yoshi, Splatoon, Nintendogs, Duck Hunt, and Luigi's Mansion rounding out the top 15. Going down, there are plenty more. This is just being a top 30 list. So we have Mario, right? In the Mario movie, they met Donkey Kong. That is a natural, I feel, web or layer to this potential cinematic universe. The Seth Rogen Donkey Kong could indeed have his own film, and it could work out, given the fact that he's already been animated, that character's already been introduced. Similarly, I suppose Toad. We could do a Captain Toad sort of spin-off, or even just a Toad's Grand Adventure, where he sucks on mushrooms in the forest, or whatever he does on his off time. But we know that Toad is very much a side character. Sure, yes, we reference Captain Toad. He does have his own games, but in the greater eyes of, the general populace, he's not this sort of heavy hitter that perhaps someone like Donkey Kong may be. Interesting to me on here is actually Animal Crossing. I think that could be viable. Animal Crossing is a weird one, just given the nature of the gameplay, but as we saw from the Mario movie, the impacts of gameplay don't matter. It's not like the Mario movie was beholden itself to gameplay mechanics or things traditionally seen in one particular Mario game. It kind of, it touched on a lot of different things, right? It touched on Mario Kart, it touched on some of the platforming with the training that he did with Peach and what have you. So whether or not it actually has to align with the gameplay of Animal Crossing, I don't think is a factor. But my thought process is here is the art style, one, behind Animal Crossing, and the fact that it's already relatively, how do we put this, not childish in nature, because I love Animal Crossing and there's almost a negative connotation with the word childish, but for lack of a better word, it is, it's cute, it's animated, it's fun, and it's appealing to a wide array of people, right? You have people like me who grew up with the GameCube version, goodness gracious at this point, over 20 years ago, and then you have, the next wave of Animal Crossing fans that are either A, being introduced to it through things like the pandemic with Animal Crossing's New Horizon, or here now with a hypothetical, addition to the Mario or Nintendo cinematic universe. Elsewise, I've heard people surmise that a Super Smash Brothers style thing could work, and I do agree that it would be a good sort of like collaboration between all of the IPs, right? We've established the Mario movie, we do a Donkey Kong one, maybe, hey, a Kirby one, or a Princess Zelda one, then you have all the people come, they fight, and then there we go, yay! It's a great conglomeration of characters. I don't know myself particularly if I like that idea a whole lot. Number one, because it's hard for me to identify where the motivation for the characters would be and how you make a story out of that. There'd have to be some reason for them to fight, and perhaps that's not necessarily the most difficult thing in the world to do, given the nature of the stories of things like Smash Ultimate, but you get what I'm saying here. I don't think that that's a great call for mass appeal. Moving on down the list, we already talked about Kirby, which I do think does have potential. Kirby is cute. Kirby is relatively popular worldwide. I know on this list it's only number 8, but it does have a certain amount of brand recognition, all right? You see a pink puffball, you're thinking one of 3 things, all right? You're either A, thinking Kirby, B, thinking Jigglypuff, or C, almost flipped off the camera, thinking, I don't know, gumballs or something, all right? And all 3 of those things are delicious, so I think that one could have some viability. Game & Watch, not so much. Brain Age, no. Yoshi, yes. Fitting into the same vein as Mario, given the fact that it was kind of teased and introduced with the Mario movie. And then Splatoon is one. While I'm not the biggest Splatoon fan, I do think that there's potential there for some sort of narrative, some sort of structure, some sort of story and greater, the piece of entertainment that could fit into a feature-length film. Nintendogs, Duck Hunt, Luigi's Mansion. So among the ones that in this top 15 that I think the most likely at least to build out this hypothetical universe would be Donkey Kong, Yoshi, and then Luigi's Mansion, right? Building upon the characters that were already established in the Mario movie, I think is the only way that they realistically could do it. Of course, who's to say? Wilder things have happened, especially with Nintendo. They themselves as a company know that they are not beholden to the rules or expectations of anyone but themselves. All right, Nintendo do be Nintendoing and we be purchasing. Elsewise, I think a Metroid movie would be good, but I don't know how that would work into a cinematic universe. Similarly, Fire Emblem as well. Star Fox, Pikmin, there's some potential there, but man, you get into the question of interacting these IPs and characters that would ordinarily never interact, say for Smash Brothers or maybe even like Mario Kart. So I think that a Nintendo cinematic universe, I think it's out of the question. It's not going to happen. No chance. What do you agree? I bet you agree. But I do think that a Mario cinematic universe is plausible, if not downright likely, given the nature of the success of the first Mario movie and them hungry pockets of our friends at Nintendo. But that's my thoughts. What are yours? I'm LP. I talk a lot and play Nintendo games. Every Tuesday I do more of one of those, and the others I'll do the same. I hope I see you again next time.